Kui is a musical heritage, a story with a profound meaning. Aksholpan Kui. The Kuishi singer is Mamen Moratoli. Legends in music. It was a clear sunny day, and the snow sparkled and crunched under feet. It was incredibly beautiful all around. At any other time, the boy would have walked slowly, enthusiastically examining the complete prickled frost and the snow-covered branches of the trees, as well as the fir needles. But right now, he was in a great hurry to get home. He was walking from the neighboring village where his father had sent him, and all his thoughts were captured by the tender melody that had arisen in his head early in that morning. And now it would die away and then intensify again. And he was afraid of frightening it away like a little bird. So he was in a hurry to pick up his dumbra and then to play the melody. A warm sheepskin coat kept him warm as well, but his hands treacherously froze and he really regretted that he had not put his gloves on. At home he'll have to wait for a while for his frozen fingers to warm back up again. And all the way the boy rubbed them, not allowing them to freeze completely. At home, as usual, there were too many things to do. This severe winter had brought a lot of trouble. Every day the father had prepared firewood. It was a good thing that the frost made the trees very dry and brittle. As he was coming down the hillock, he saw his mother, taking in icy cold water from a silvery stream. In some places the creek managed to escape from the ice that had bound it, and the mother came there for water. "Father, Mother, I've returned," the boy said happily. His mom swept her eyes over her son with a quick glance and immediately saw his cheeks pale with cold and blue hands. "Son, you've gotten so cold while you were walking. Oh, I should have dressed you warmer. And your hands are completely stiff. Let me warm them up. But that's all right. Let me give you some hot tea. It will warm you up quickly." "Mom, hold off on the tea for now. You know that I've got to take my dumbra and play this new melody. You will love it. It's not any one that you've ever heard before. No, it's completely different. Let me play it for you now. You are something else, son. I'm always ready to listen to you play for hours. There is a reason why you were invited to the celebrations twice now, where you played your dumbra. Even the revered Akin Joly has noticed you." "Yes, Mom, you're right, but I'm still learning, you know, and someday I'll be able to play like a real kuishi. Then I'll buy you the most beautiful silver earrings," the boy hurriedly exclaimed. "I'm 11 years old. I'm almost an adult, and someday I will be a famous Akin." The father, a young, strong man, was cutting branches and listening to the silly babble of his son, while his eyebrows unhappily converged over his nose. "You surprise me, son. You yourself say that you're an adult, but you think like a bazaar trader," the father said irritably. "You got all this nonsense in your head." "Why, father?" the child said. "Why do you say that? You yourself also play the dumbra." "But first and foremost, I do all the work, and only sometimes do I have time to pick up my dumbra and play it. And you're going to become as lazy as those people who don't want to work, and they just pull the strings on their dumbra all day. I know those kind of people, and my son will be no such slacker." "No, I'm not a slacker. I'm not going to become one, father. Playing dumbra is also work." "Ha ha ha, son, these celebrations don't happen every day, so how are you going to feed your family? Huh? Music is only good when your belly is full." "Why do you say such things?" the mother said. "Is it really so bad that our son loves to play the dumbra? What's wrong with him playing and singing at celebrations? Not everyone is destined to become a great Akin or a kuishi, but is it so bad to dream about it?" The father stared at his son for a while and said with a serious tone of voice, "It's good to dream, of course, but he needs also to understand that he will soon become a man, and he will soon be carrying the burden of responsibility for himself, for you and for the brothers and sisters of his shoulders. A man receives everything in life through his work. You've only seen the recognized and the revered Kuishi, but there are so many others who are wandering from aul to aul in ragged clothes with their dumbras, and they sleep out in the open like animals. I don't want this kind of life for my son." "But I will play anyway," the boy exclaimed. "We will see what you're going to make," his father responded angrily. "We will see." Pieces of music emerged in different ways. When the heart of a Kuishi opens up for joy and love, or when it sinks from grief and sadness. Music, like life itself, is inextricably linked with a person's emotions and with one's nation. Every Kui has its own story of how it was created, and so Mamen's Kuis have their own story. The Kuishi, while traveling, found himself at the wedding of a young girl named Aksholpan. Aksholpan Kui. His eyes could not yet see the aul, but the keen and sensitive ear of the Kuishi had caught the melody of the dumbra, singing joyfully and announcing the celebration to everyone. Only as he climbed the hill, Mamen was able to see the aul that spread out at foot of the mountains. When he entered the village, he realized that they were preparing for a magnificent, large toy or celebration. The kind residents welcomed the stranger warmly and told him that there would be a celebration coming in the village. A rich and noble Bai was going to give his daughter, the beautiful Aksholpan, to be married. The groom has come with his matchmakers from afar, and will soon take his bride back to his home. The people praised the beauty of the girl, but they also said that she grew up to be spoiled and moody. The yurts were festively decorated with bright carpets, and there was meat and dough being fried in the kazans everywhere. The rich man lashed out food for his guests. The guests joyfully celebrated and ate and drank in abundance. The Kuishi also found a place at the wedding dastarkhan. Mamen looked around and saw the shining faces of all the guests. It was noisy and great fun. At last, the bride came out and sat next to her groom. Mamen saw her beautiful face and froze. Aksholpan's skin was as white as mare's milk, and her dark eyes were like deep whirlpools that could have captivated any young man, except he noticed deep grief and sadness in them. The Kuishi started that there was so much despondency emanating from this beauty. A shadow laid under her beautiful eyes. It was obvious that this beauty had not slept a wink all night long. Mamen looked closely at the faces of the guests, and only in the eyes of the bride did he see tears. Many Akuns have come to this toy celebration, each one wanting to show off their skills in playing the dumbra and composing fervent songs. To make the guests even more happy, the rich man made arrangements for itus. The guests chose 3 of the most talented Akuns, and now everyone was waiting for the bride to decide whom she will call the best and present an expensive gift. The bride rose from her seat and silence fell over the crowd. Everyone was waiting with sinking heart whom Aksholpan would like the most. With blazing eyes, she said aloud, "My heart and my soul are fully attached to my native land. It is hard for me to part with my father and my mother, with my brothers and sisters. I know that I will not see my home ever again, and I am appalled and my heart aches. But I ask only one thing. Please do not play me merry tunes, but instead Give me kuishis and akuns, a kui that will tell me about my sadness." Aksholpan approached one of the oldest and most famous akuns and handed him his dumbra, flexible as a swan. "I want this kui to be performed on my dumbra." The akun took the dumbra in his hands and struck the strings. The dumbra sang piteously, telling a sad melody about a miserable girl. The kuishi played skillfully, and all the guests became sad, and their hearts became heavy with sorrow. Suddenly the bride stopped his playing and shouted loudly, stamping her foot, "This is a beautiful melody, kuishi, but I know it, and it's not about me." The musicians exchanged their glances. The second akun took his dumbra in his hands and struck the strings. The dumbra groaned and cried. The musician played it in such a piercing and emotional way that the guests' eyes ran with tears. But with a wave of her hand again, Aksholpan made him stop playing. She said in a displeased voice, "And this song also isn't about me. It talks about a mother losing her child, and I'm only saying goodbye to my sweet home." The third akun took the dumbra, tuned the strings, and began to play. This incredibly beautiful and tragic melody even brought tears to the eyes of strong men, but it did not soften the heart of the bride. "The kui you play is beautiful, musician," Aksholpan said, "but it talks about a girl suffering over the loss of her beloved, and this is not about me." So the dumbra passed from one akin to another, but no one was able to play the melody of Aksholpan's heart. She looked around at her guests with a stern and sad look and said bitterly, "You are eating and drinking and enjoying all of this food, but you're unaware of what bitterness I have in my mouth, even from a piece of sweet sugar. Apparently no one understands me. No one can feel my soul." Everyone was silent and their heads were low. "So now I'm going to have to leave my home without taking anything with me, not even my own song. Even my abundant dowry will go to my husband. I'm going to leave my father's house like an orphan." Tears ran down her cheeks, and the bride began to cry inconsolably. And then my man took the dumbra. He touched its rugged strings, and a piercingly beautiful melody spread out. One could hear everything in it: the birth of the sun early in the morning, and the silver moon at night, the rustle of the steppe grass, and the trampling of the strong horse's feet, the fragrance of blooming poppies, and the smell of spring and first snow, past happy childhood, and anticipation of an unknown future. All the guests were listening to the kui with acute fascination. Then tears as clear as morning dew were running down Aksholpan's cheeks, but the heart fluttered with joy. She looked closely at the one who was able to play the song of her soul, and then the girl realized that she had not seen this handsome young man before. Apparently he had come to her house from another land. She got up and came to Mamen. As a sign of deep respect, she bowed low to him and asked for an embroidered white robe. "This is who will receive the expensive gift from the bride. So let your kui Jigit bring me love and good luck at my groom's house," Aksholpan said, smiling. "Now I can leave my native Aul with peace in my heart." The next day, the groom had taken his beautiful bride away from the Aul. The villagers had long remembered this wedding. Everyone was sorry to say goodbye to the beautiful Aksholpan, as they knew that at times living at the house of her husband can be tough. They felt sorry for the girl and missed her. Many years had passed. One day a family came to their aul. They rode for several days and were very tired from their travels. The horse needed rest and water, and they were hot and in need of shelter. According to the steppe traditions, the villagers fed the travelers and offered them rest for a few days, to be able to continue their journey with renewed vigor. Everyone loved the little girl, their youngest daughter traveling with her parents. She was a very smart and cheerful child. At some point she took the dombra in her hands and began to play it skillfully. Suddenly the villagers heard that beautiful but sad melody that was played at the wedding of Aksholpan. The people gathered around the girl and asked her to play it again and again. They began to ask her where she knew this kui from. Cheerfully, the girl told them that she was taught to play this melody by a very rich and generous, kind woman named Aksholpan. Aksholpan told her that whoever plays this kui will surely bring them luck, just as it did for her. The people were touched by these words and threw a celebration in the village. So amazingly, this beautiful kui became well loved by the people, and it continues to bring joy to everyone with its amazing melodiousness. The unique music of Mamen Joly. The well-known Kuishi composer Mamen Joly was one of the few who had a chance to learn music from the famous Kurmangazi. Having learnt the skills of his teacher, he himself began to compose kuis, which have found great popular love, such as Aksholpan, Kagali Kara, Karajan Hanım, and Karbez Aksholpan. His kuis are notable for their high sensual and emotional beginnings. They always contain lyrical motifs.